Hi, I'm Lorraine. Welcome to the District Yoga. For today's restorative practice, you're going to need at least one blanket or large bath towel. I have a second one just in case. You might like it just in case in a couple of the shapes that we're going to do. So if you have two, feel free to find one. We're going to use both of them really in a nice long roll. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to do that. Find really like a nice rectangular shape. They call this a square shape. Mine's not quite square, but find that shape, and then we're going to roll really so that we find a long roll. So we're going to roll the long side of that rectangle or square that you have. You could roll it tight, you could roll it loose. I like it a little bit more firm, so this is what you're going to have. A nice long roll. We're going to use it to start out. We're really going to use it in every shape that we come into. This is going to become our neck roll in this first supported shape. So find supported shavasana. We're going to bring that roll to the top edge of our mat, and again, our neck is going to find that support there. If you are using a second roll, I'm going to have mine underneath my knees. If you don't have one, that's okay. Otherwise, just find your way onto your back and find a comfortable place for that neck roll. You might have to adjust it if it's too padded up. You can unroll it a little bit. And then just come into this first pose, a nice supported shavasana. Again, if you have one or two rolls underneath you, just feel the support of those blankets. And then give yourself permission to step away from what you just came from. Maybe even step away from any attachments of, is my roll the right height? Is it right? Is it wrong? Just see if you can let that go. Stepping away from the thoughts. And again, just coming back to our mat, giving yourself the permission to be here and be still. So we'll just use this pose as really a transitionary pose into this nice, sweet practice, this potent practice. Giving yourself the space to breathe here. A nice gentle breath, nothing controlled or rigid. Just find a fluid breathing. Feeling the connection of your body with the earth here. We'll use today's restorative practice to really start to aid digestion. And it'll be a nice gentle way to stimulate the internal organs. Give them a nice sort of massage, if you would. And ultimately, in every restorative class, the aim is just to be gentle with our body. Take your last couple breaths here. Massive inhale. Full breath out. We're just going to turn off to our right side. So as slow as you need. The transition just as important. Slowly making your way onto your right side. Maybe scooting that that blanket, if you had it underneath the knees, off to the side. And from here, we're going to come into our first side lying pose. So go ahead and press into that left hand and gently press your way up. We're going to bring that roll just down your mat. We're going to bring it so that when we lay back down onto our right side, it's really in between that hip bone and that low rib. If you need to make any adjustments when we get there, you absolutely can. Otherwise, let that right arm extend out long. And then let the legs find a position that feels right. You could either extend the legs, that might intensify it a little bit, this roll underneath that side body. And then the left arm can come up and overhead. I have my head resting on my right bicep here. If you need to bend the knees, you absolutely could. That might feel better for you. If you need to bring the left hand to the left side body, always many adjustments that you can do. Just find something where you can get comfortable and stay here for a few minutes. Coming back to that fluid breath. Maybe seeing if you can breathe into the right side ribs, creating this opening kind of like gills. And here we touch into the area of the kidneys and the gallbladder. And again, we give them a gentle massage here as we breathe in and breathe out. Just staying and breathing, allowing the body to slow down. Allowing the mind to stay here. Maybe when you inhale, feeling the belly kind of expand. And as you exhale, feeling the belly just soften. And even here in the side lying pose, feeling the ribs and the tissues, or the area around the ribs, the tissues around the ribs. As you breathe in, again, like gills, the ribs expand. And exhale, they contract back in. Maybe finding a little bit more space each time you breathe. If you're with me, take one more big inhale. Massive exhale. Plant the left hand in front of that right shoulder. We're going to come on to our bellies. So slowly start to turn the belly towards the mat. Bring the right hand underneath the right shoulder. Press back to child's pose just for transition. Maybe the forehead comes onto that roll. Take a couple breaths. The next pose we're coming into is really this belly roll. We're going to bring the roll right underneath the pelvis and the low ribs. So once you're ready, shift forward. We're going to come onto that roll. Again, make any adjustments. It's going to be really right underneath the pelvis. And it might graze the low ribs. If you need to scoot back or up, you absolutely can. And I'll give you a couple options. Option one is just going to be to let the elbows splay out and then create a pillow with the hands, turning the head off to one side. If right away that is too much, you could always stay on the forearms and on the elbows. Just know here that because you're supporting your upper body, see if you can kind of just melt the belly down into the roll. So if you decide to stay on the forearms, see if you can just get heavy through the belly. Otherwise, you're just resting the head on the hands. And again, this practice, we're really just trying to stimulate or massage the internal organs. And especially in this shape here. Most of us don't tend to lay on our belly, so it might feel a little different. If it's ever too much, or say you were pregnant or something like that, you could always come into a supported child's pose, again bringing the forehead onto the roll. Otherwise, the goal of this pose is really, again, to massage or stimulate those internal organs. So see if you can let the breath take over here. Although the breath is not forced, it definitely is more subtle here. You might notice as you breathe in that the belly presses against the roll, almost pushing it away. And then as you breathe out, the belly comes up and in, and that roll kind of starts to come underneath the ribs there, right? Or towards the belly. And that's where we get that stimulation of those abdominals, of the internal organs. almost like a gentle myofascial release. If you do have the cheek off to one side or the head off to the one side, go ahead and turn it to the opposite side. We're just going to switch that out. Still seeing if you can be soft but heavy. The legs heavy, the upper body heavy. Feeling that sense of softening as you exhale, the belly gets soft. Take one more massive breath in. Big breath out. Push that roll. We're going to turn on to the left side here. So let's come back to that child's pose again. Hands under the shoulders. Gently, slowly come to a child's pose. Maybe the roll right underneath the forehead. Maybe not. Depending on your anatomy, might end up in a different place. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to tabletop position and we're going to come on to our left side. So we'll go ahead and roll. If you need to roll that thing back up, come onto your left side. We're going to bring the roll right on the bottom left ribs. Left arm extends out long, right? That head comes onto that left bicep. Options again for the legs. You can keep them extended. You can keep them bent. Right arm can reach up and overhead. Or it can come down the side body or even right in front of your chest there. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So now we move on to the left side here. Maybe some gentle awareness of whether or not this feels any different than the opposite side. And coming back to that fluid breathing. Again, we're just using this practice to aid our digestive system. Restorative practices are definitely one that can help with digestion. Not only because here we're massaging internal organs like the kidneys, the liver, but also because we slow down, we start to just come into that parasympathetic nervous system, right? Where we are really coming into what they call rest and digest part of our nervous system. Signaling to our bodies that we can process and digest, that we're not in fear and we don't have to be running from anything or from here. Take a massive breath in. Full breath out. We're going to slowly come onto our back. So just press that right hand into the mat. Start to lift the upper body up. Pushing that roll gently back to where it was at the top of your mat. And then gently coming back onto your back. We're going to just end in this same pose that we started in. We're going to find that neck roll. If you need to adjust the roll, the height, or unroll it or roll it back up, you can. And again, if you want to use that second blanket, you absolutely can slide it underneath the knees or maybe even underneath the ankles. And otherwise, we'll slip right into our final resting position, Shavasana. I'll go ahead and leave you in that Shavasana there. Take as much time as you need. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Namaste.